Thank you so much for joining me today. Got a fantastic book here that I have had for years and years, and I'd always heard about it as well as the follow up to it, which I should be getting to pretty soon, I'll be honest. I have both the books, I love both of them, and they have certainly seen a lot of wear and tear. They are books that I constantly go back to, and rightly so. I'm talking about none other than Imaginative Realism by James Gurney. For those that don't know, James Gurney is not only just a renowned illustrator, but he also is the creator of Dinotopia. It's a phenomenally realistic looking book in which civilizations and dinosaurs are together. I guess it's the best way to put it. So, what is the book really about? Imaginative realism. We have James Gurney. He basically shares the techniques for painting imaginary subjects with convincing realism. That's sort of his claim to fame. Rather than focusing on the fantasy art cliches that we all see like a million times, Gurney treats the fantastical subjects such as dinosaurs, mythical creatures, sometimes historical recreations, and invented architecture with the same amount of realism. And that's sort of like the selling point. And the book breaks down the creative process into pretty clear steps, covering topics such as idea development, research, sketching and thumbnailing, building maquettes and reference models, which is actually a great thing. Lighting and perspective, character and creature design, historical and architectural recreations, studio techniques, and materials all get covered in this book. He includes over 300 illustrations, many of which are from his own projects that actually were finalized and released to the public. Unlike a lot of books out there, it's just sort of like people's sketchbooks. All of these things pretty much can be traced back to a National Geographic issue or part of his own books that he's released. It's really cool to see somebody that is that prolific as a professional actually telling you his techniques. It's pretty great. Some of the key themes, bridging imagination and realism, trying to have that whole hybrid of these fantastical creatures in the real world and how you would pull that off in a 2D representation. Also highlights there's a lot that goes into the research and preparation for a painting that is really highlighted, to be honest. It's actually refreshing to see somebody that approaches it almost as though like he's a novelist that has to do research into a subject. And I think it's a great thing to see an artist put in that kind of effort and time into just everything you can get your hands on in terms of research for a subject that you're trying to paint or recreate. A lot of what he does is actually traditional artistic methods that he applies to the realm of fantasy art. It's always great to see sort of a Baroque approach or something that looks like it's a Renaissance painting, but it's got dinosaurs and dragons in it. It's pretty cool. And of course, he touches on building credibility in invented worlds. So, who is the book for, really? Is a big question, and it's definitely for illustrators, concept artists, and fantasy sci-fi painters, art students, of course, and anyone interested in visual storytelling with realism. But this truly is just an incredible resource for concept art and illustration. Right off the bat, this isn't a book about fantasy cliches. It's about building believable worlds, characters, and creatures with the same care and logic as classical realism, really. And James Gurney breaks everything down from sketching ideas and building models to lighting, anatomy, perspective. It's like a toolkit for your imagination. He shows you how to develop ideas, do research, and even build maquettes to study light and form, just like the old masters used to do. It's, like I said before, it really is incredibly helpful to have a 3D model, like something that's tangible in front of you that you can adjust the light around, see how shadows fall, see where the highlights hit. And he's definitely one of the guys that still uses it, and his maquettes are pretty cool, I gotta say. They're pretty well detailed. I want to say he even recommends, was it Schleich? Is that the those realistic little dinosaur and fantasy creatures that you can find? I think Barnes and Noble has like a small section of it in the back of the store. But those little things are cool. They're very well detailed, and some of them have a little bit of articulation to them. Now, whether you're designing dragons, lost cities, prehistoric beasts, Gurney teaches you how to make all of them feel grounded in reality, which is the number one thing you're trying to do when it comes to illustration. You're trying to sell the audience what they're seeing is actually real. And with the book, you'll see behind the scenes of some of his most iconic work, including Dinotopia. It packs in 300 some odd plus illustrations and tons of practical advice. From lighting setups to storytelling techniques, this book doesn't just teach you how to paint, it actually teaches you why things work and why when you see something it is believable, why you look at certain things and it just doesn't have that, even though it could be incredibly well rendered. There's just always something that sort of gives it away. He gets into all that. Anyway, if you are into this world building thing, please let me know what you think of it. Like I said, I adore it. But anyway, thank you so much for listening and hearing me ramble on. And until the next time, we'll be back.